Okay, so we had a conversation over dinner, starting from the beginning, with Anis, and he asked us what we think the most useful skills and the most important things that were there for us that we had to, I'm forgetting English now, that were useful for us to learn the language. The first thing we said was listening. Listening was really key because you can understand by reading Arabic what the words are supposed to sound like, but you never really solidify that until you listen to a foreigner speak it to you, someone who's like natively Arabic speak it to you, and then you really learn how to pronounce it correctly. The second thing we said is the roots. This is specifically for Arabic. The way Arabic works is it's comprised of 3 or 4 letter roots, and these roots are plugged into like functions almost that create meanings of the words. And if you study those roots, you may not know exactly what a word means, but if you know the pattern and the root of the word, then you can really understand what it means. So specifically for Arabic, this is what helped us acquire language. And then next we said it was speaking. Speaking is a big part of being able to use the language, because you may understand the language, but you may never really be able to use the language. You can know all you want about the language and how it works and the ins and outs of it, but if you're never using it, you're never really getting to practice speaking and just using it in your everyday life. And that's just like, once I started speaking Arabic more, I noticed how much it improved, even if it was just a little bit of amount. And then the next thing we said was resilience. And these palm trees resemble resilience. And resilience really means not being afraid to make mistakes. So you might obviously sound dumb at first, or you will obviously make mistakes, but you can't really be afraid of making mistakes, because as long as you get your ideas across, that's what the language is for. Like, literally since the beginning of human history, language was a way that we got ideas across, and even if you didn't say it correctly, as long as you get the idea across, then it's fine.
And resiliency.
And resiliency.
That's what the palm tree means in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. And then finally, we said don't worry about the grammar at first, because the grammar is not something that's really important. Well, it is important, but it's something that you will learn later on. The main focus should be learning how to use the language, and if you make grammatical mistakes but you still got your idea across, that's way better than having perfect grammar but not being able to get your idea across at all. And then lastly, what one did we say for this one?
Saad, speak with people that you feel comfortable with and friends.
Yes, okay, so Saad, who is part of the Qatar debates, he foundation, the chief adjudicator. Chief adjudicator's son.
High five.
He said an important part of that helped him learn English was finding friends that spoke English as well, and it gave him an opportunity to use the language with them, and to speaking with them in a conversational setting and not like out of a classroom setting, that required him to really think about his own ideas and what he wanted to say, and being able to say those ideas in English. And having friends was a really good way to use English in his everyday life. And
I would add to that as well, this is also part of the drawing. This is section drawing of coffee, people are walking. We have a cyclist going in. This communicates comfort. The development that we see is a human scale development. It helps people to be comfortable. Back to reiterate what Saad, the author of the idea, I wanted to bring comfort zone into the conversation. When people are comfortable where they are learning. I lived with a host family. I love them. They are my family here in the States, and I lived with them for 3 years. I do still keep in touch with them. I was comfortable, and I was able to learn and acquire the language. In your experience, you have mentioned something about being in Jordan.
Yes.
At the end of your trip, it was a little bit uncomfortable for some of the group,
but
and it made learning a little bit challenging. So it's all about creating comfort zone, get to know good people, make sure that you are comfortable with the area that you're in, and that's when learning comes in, and we can invest in that learning up to the maximum potential.
You want to add something, Luke? No?
No, I'm okay.
Anything else what you guys want to add?
We have learned a lot from Anis this trip.
Yeah.
We have made a very good friend who's awesome at drawing and who cares about our perspectives just as much as we care about his perspective. Because it's very interesting to see somebody who's learning English whereas we're learning Arabic. So it's kind of like a swap of ideas and a swap of languages, and it's really cool to be able to communicate different ways and help one another with our native tongue as well as the tongue we're trying to learn.
I've also created friends in Bowling Green, Kentucky, and I look forward to the day that I visit Bowling Green, and I'm sure that there is a second version to this video. You're recording.
I have one more thing. The most important, in my opinion, of these is resilience. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because, I mean, we're competing against native speakers in this guitar debate, and we knew that compared to them, we would sound absolutely ridiculous, but despite that, we were able to persevere and win some debates.
Duke University.
It's amazing, but it was all because we were able to communicate our ideas, and it was not correct. Grammatically, it made no sense. It made enough sense for us to win, obviously, but grammatically it was not correct. But it's okay. Just stick with it, and you'll be able to use the language, and it'll be amazing. You'll be surprised at yourself.
The most important thing is to get your idea across.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be correct, but
Yeah.
making mistakes is okay.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, anything else?
I make a lot of mistakes grammatically, but I know the vocab, and I feel like my presentation of ideas in this morning's debate and my ideas about what they did wrong were key to our victory, as well as my awesome team helping us come up with Hoja and Evan. He helped, even though he didn't debate today, he debated yesterday. We kicked some butt. And I think our joint efforts in tough meeting and the creation of
Tough meeting.
the creation of Hoja is definitely key in our victories.
Tough meeting, Hojaing,
Tish cheating, they're off cars, they're off cars.
they're off cars.
Darling.
They're off cars.
And most of us haven't even spoken Arabic for that long, so the fact that we were able to beat native speakers just shows that it's the main importance is just using the language to get your ideas across. I've only personally been studying for 2.5 years. None of us have studied for more than 5 years, and we were able to present a better argument than native speakers of the language. So
From
it just
a
goes,
fancy school.
yeah, from a fancy school.
I'll add to all of that, this is my piece of the drawing in addition to the palm trees, urban planning.
The best urban planner in the world.
Oh, one day, I have a dream. Urban planning is a passion of mine. How to make human at the center of the development. And English, when I focused and I was able to learn that urban planning is my passion, I figured that if I wanna be an urban planner, an outstanding urban planner, English is a must language to acquire. And when it is part of my journey, I believe I've done a good job to acquire that language and help me to be the planner that I wanted to see one day.
Awesome. Yeah. شكرا ممتاز.
Wow. This is my favorite night.